Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Youth Innovation Table. My name is Sanan Qasim. I'm proud to serve as the president of our organization. And today we have an amazing discussion with none other than DW Starr, who's a sales and confidence expert. And we're so excited to have him join us. But as always, before we go to our keynote speaker, we have a few items of club business that we're going to go over. I'd like to recognize our leadership team members who are on the call today. Miriam, our vice president, my right hand, Grace, our state director in California, and Bailey, our director of communication. Also the chat master, because he's going to have some great information in the chat. And one of the things we ask is to stay engaged, stay excited, and we're going to have a great time and a great session. I'm going to hand it over to Grace to talk a little bit about our Youth Innovator recognition before we begin. Grace?
Yes, so this meeting we do not have a youth spotlight, but every meeting we try and recognize people youth just like us who are doing good in the community. So if you guys have anyone that you would like to nominate who can be featured in our next meeting, Miriam will either place the link in the chat now or she'll send it in the email as well. So there's a lot of opportunity, and if you know someone, we would love to recognize them.
Thank you, Grace. We also want to recognize the founder of the Youth Innovation Table, our mayor in Coral Springs, Florida, Scott Brook. He has been a constant support and mentor to our youth. For those who have been on our calls before, you know about Mayor Brook and you know how excited he is about energizing and fortifying our future. So we want to give him a shout out. He wasn't able to make it today. He's in Michigan, but he'll certainly be joining us in the next meetings ahead. I'm going to hand it over to Miriam, our vice president, to introduce our team and ways for our youth to get involved. Miriam?
Thank you, Sanan. So here is our wonderful leadership team. Of course, we have our president, Sanan, and me, I'm the vice president. And then we have our two wonderful communications directors, Bailey and Isabel, our director of the YIT of California, Grace, and our secretary, Julianne. And here are just some different areas of involvement. If any of you guys want to have a greater role in the Youth Innovation Table, please email us or contact any of us by phone or whatever method you prefer. We have 3 different subcommittees that you could specialize in if that's what you're interested in. We have marketing and outreach, member retention and recruitment, and the fundraising committee.
Thank you, Miriam. We also have an adult mentor board. So for all of the adults who are on the call, we're looking for your support of our youth. We're looking for you to help us get sponsorships so we can have scholarships and other financial incentives for our youth. We are looking for you to support our young leaders. And so I hope that you'll take the opportunity to email youthinnovationtable@gmail.com for more ways to get involved. Looking ahead, we're going to have a discussion next on Monday, August 9th, 2021. So keep your calendars ready for August 9th, and we'll release more details on what will be to come on that meeting date. For sponsorships, we have our platinum, gold, silver, and bronze levels. And as always, we welcome any sponsorships, any businesses that want to get involved. Please reach out to us and we'd be more than happy to have you join our Youth Innovation Table family. So our keynote speaker is going to speak in the beginning and give us a great presentation, but at the end of today's call, we're going to have a Q&A session, a chance for you to ask questions to our speaker. To do that, we have the raise hand function, which is when you click on the participants icon. And we also have the chat, which is at the bottom of the screen. You can ask questions throughout today's segment, and we'll make sure that we get to your questions and make sure that you're able to network with DW. And so now it is my honor to introduce to you DW Starr. For 20 years, Mr. DW Starr has been helping his clients reach higher levels of success. He's been selling since he was 9 years old. He's endured and survived 3 separate traumatic brain injuries and is a top sales producer for over 30 years in the medical information industry. He is uniquely experienced in building confidence. His expertise has led him to present and consult at conventions and workshops in over 9 countries and throughout the United States. His clients come in all sizes, from large to small, frontline salespeople to sales managers. All find his information timely, meaningful, doable, and successful. He has inspired and transformed countless organizations and lives through his time-tested, insightful, and groundbreaking 5-star blockbuster movies formula and his proprietary 5-star confidence strategy. DW has also served in the United States Army and as a movie and TV director and actor. He's also the author of When Change Means Business and his forthcoming book, Become More Confident in 17 Minutes. We're excited to have him join us today. And without further ado, Mr. Starr, the floor is yours.
Hey guys, how are you? I'm excited to be here. So listen, imagine if you could be more confident in sales by the end of the Zoom call. That'd be pretty cool, right? Okay, so before I even talk about that, everybody's been asking me about this thing that I've been selling since I was 9 years old. So let me explain it to you real quick. When I was 9 years old, I was really into chemistry and I was really into magic. And so what I did was I had a friend over in the backyard and I took my chemistry set and I did a little magic show for him. I took a beaker that was clear liquid and another beaker that was clear liquid, and I poured it into the other beaker and it turned all yellow and went like that. And he said, wow, that's really neato kino. Because that's what we talked like back then. And so then I said, okay, watch this. And I had a little tiny test tube and it was full of clear liquid and another one full of clear liquid. And I poured it into the other one and it went like that. And it turned all red. He said, wow, that's really, really cool. And so then I got this really brilliant idea that evening while I was at home in my bedroom. I got this idea that maybe more people might want to see something like this. So what I did was the next week I invited all the kids in the neighborhood into my backyard and I did a magic show. And I charged them all 10 cents. Now that's not a lot of money now, but it was back then. So that was the beginning of my speaking career, my sales career, and my magic career. My magic career is not going so good, but the other two are going pretty well. So here's what I want to do. I want to help you guys become more sales confident. So what I want you to do is take out a piece of paper and I want you, can you all see that? I want you to put that down on that piece of paper. I want you to write my sales movie. You don't have to draw the camera if you don't want to. And then sales script, right like this. And then at the bottom, Tangu. Tangu. Now hold that up there for a second or two so you can see it. Can everybody see that okay? Oh, they're all on mute. Okay, cool. All right, pretty much everybody got that? If you got that, raise your hand. Awesome, awesome. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about sales success. But before we, it says sales script, and sales is the key to this presentation. But what's more important is the script. And most people, when they think of sales, they think of this written out script, word for word, that they have to repeat over and over. And that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the script in your mind, the inner script, the inner movie. In fact, that's why I'm dressed like this. I'm dressed like an old time movie director. You can't see my pants, but they're the old fashioned movie pants too. And the reason I'm dressed like that is because as a movie director, I can help you direct your inner movie. So let's get started. Success. That's what the first S stands for. So write success. You have a dream or a goal that you think about a lot. Well, what does it look like? What does it feel like? You want to buy a car? You want to play the drums? You want to get a date with that someone you really like? You want to get into a certain college or start a business? Write down how it will make you feel when you have it. Write down how it will make you feel when you have it. For the adults in the audience, you want to get a promotion, you want to land a new client, write down how it will feel when you have it. And be as specific as you can. The more you can understand and really feel what it will be like to have that success, the higher the probability will be of having that success. Okay, now the C stands for can-do attitude. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. I'm going to repeat that. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So let's have a little fun. I want everybody to stand up. Don't worry about the cameras. Don't worry about the cameras, just everybody stand up. I'm going to stay seated so you can see me, but everybody stand up. You're not standing up. I can tell you're not standing up. Come on, everybody stand up. What I want you to do is put your arm out in front of you like this. And once you do that, I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to turn to your right as far as you can go with your eyes closed until you can't go any further, and then stop, and then look at what you're pointing at. So go ahead, keep your eyes closed, turn all the way to the right as far as you can, not moving your feet, only your arm. And then when you get to that point where you can't go any further, open your eyes and look at where you're pointing. Okay, awesome. Now come back to where you were. Keep your eyes closed, standing up, and in your mind only, put your arms down. In your mind only, what I want you to do now is I want you to imagine you going at least 25% further than you did when you did it with your actual hand. So in your mind only, with your eyes closed, turn to the right. In your mind only. In your mind only. That's right, that's right. Okay, now stop, keep your eyes closed and come back. Keep your eyes closed. And this time I want you to do a 180-degree turn. In your mind only, turn now. In your mind only, all the way around, all the way around. In your mind only, as if your whole arm was facing the opposite wall to your left. In your mind only. Now come back. Now what I want you to do is put your arm back up, same arm, in front of you, like you did before with your eyes closed, and I want you to turn as far as you can to the right. As far as you can, and then open your eyes. Okay, you can all have a seat. How many people, by a show of hands, how many people felt like they went further this time? Awesome, awesome. Well, the only thing that was different is what you visualized. You didn't actually do anything physically different. So imagine the possibilities that you would have in your life if you imagined you did things before you actually did them, how much more possible things could happen in your life. The belief and confidence is what held you back. The belief and confidence is what held you back. It was all in your mind the whole time. The next letter is R. It stands for resilience. You have to bounce forward after a setback. You have to get back after a setback. Often failure is the price of success. Michael Jordan, I'm going to read this because I want to make sure I get this right. Michael Jordan didn't make his high school basketball team. Oprah Winfrey was fired from 2 news shows. Walt Disney, as a reporter, was fired for not having enough imagination. Can you imagine that? Huh? J.K. Rowling, you know, the Harry Potter author, she was rejected by dozens and dozens of publishers. And Lady G, Lady Gaga, she was dropped by her first record label in 3 months. Boy, I bet you they were upset later when they found out the mistake they made. Adults in the audience for a minute. Who's failed at least once in their life? I know I did. Remember 2008? Had a retail business that went belly up bankrupt. So failure is the price of success. And all those successful people know that. And all 5 of those successful people used a phrase that I've created called Tangu. You see it there on your paper? Tangu. Take action now, never give up. Take action now, never give up. And that's what they all did. And look at the successes that they made. Okay, now, the next, oh, awesome, I'm missing a page, cool. Where's the page going? All right, well, we'll just wing it. That's okay, cool. So what we're gonna talk about now is S-C-R-I-P, passion. That's right, passion. Your why is more important than your how. Your why is more important than your how. If you know why you want to do something, that's the most important thing. You can figure out the how later. So what I think I did was I think I skipped a page. Let me see here. 3, 2, 1. Yep, I skipped a page. See if we can find it. Here it is. Awesome. Before passion is imagination. Awesome. Okay. Your imagination's like a magnet. It attracts what you focus on. There's a part of your brain called the RAS, the reticular activating system. You should write this down, RAS. It stands for reticular activating system. And what it does is it unconsciously focuses on what you tell it to focus on, whether it's good or bad. And it's all at an unconscious level. Here's a simple example. Okay, you have a family car, it's red. And then you sell the car and you buy a white one. Your parents buy a white one. Well, all of a sudden you start to notice all the white ones everywhere. You ever notice that that happens? Well, why does that happen? The red ones were there the whole time. So you stayed focused on the red, and as soon as you bought the white, then you started focusing on the white. But the whites were there the whole time too. The reason is because you get what you focus on, and your RAS goes out and looks for things that match what you focus on. So let's have a little more fun. I'm going to say lights, camera, and you're going to say action. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Lights, camera,
Action.
Awesome. Try it again. Lights, camera.
Action.
Okay, I guess it would be better if they weren't all muted. Anyway, okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to give you a chance to really experience how your RAS works. So I'm going to say lights, camera. You're going to say action, and then I'm going to have you close your eyes. No, I'm going to have you close your eyes right now. Close your eyes right now. Okay, everybody close your eyes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say lights, camera. And when you say action, I want you to open your eyes and look for everything in the room that's green. Ready? Lights, camera. You guys say action, and now open your eyes and look for everything in the room that's green. Keep looking, keep looking, keep looking. Okay, close your eyes. All right, now what I want you to do is I want you to shout out loud, even if your mic is off, it's okay, everything that you saw that was blue. Hard, right? You can open your eyes now. Your mind focuses on something, and that's what you see. Your mind focuses on green, you see green. The blue was there the whole time. Look around at all the blue that's there. but you didn't see it because you were so focused on the green. Now imagine if you took your thoughts and you focused on positive things instead of why it won't work, why it will work, or why it could work, or why it might work. Imagine how powerful your mind really is in focusing on what works and what doesn't work based on your focus. So, just like a minute ago when I was having this issue with the wrong notes and everything, I said, I'm just going to stay positive. I'm going to focus on the success of what we're doing here. It'll fall into place. And bam, it did. Okay, so now we can talk about passion a little bit more because now my notes are right in front of me. So passion will take you through the tough times. You need to know what you want, and you need to know it as specifically as you can, because the clearer you are on what you want and the clearer you are on why you want it, the easier it is for you to get it. Now in sales, it has to do with understanding that you're going to get a lot of no's and a lot of rejection, because not everybody's your customer. And we're going to talk about that in a minute or two. But you're going to get a lot of sales and a lot of rejection. But if your passion's clear, if you know why you're doing what you're doing, you'll figure out how to do it. Even if it doesn't work the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, because you will take action now and never give up. So a no is just one step closer to getting to the yes. Okay, now let's talk about the T. Are we all together now on the T? Awesome, it stands for talk. And next to it, put self. It's called self-talk. For 20 years, I've been researching teens and adults, and I have found, unfortunately, that a lot of the talk is negative. I'm not good enough, I'm black, I'm white, I'm brown, I'm red, I'm yellow, I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm big, I'm too small, I've never done it before, I've never sold before, when I sell, I suck at it, you know, all these different things that we say to ourselves that build our lack of confidence. So what you need to do, and I do a whole 60-minute live, interactive, in-person show with teenagers and their parents about how to build their confidence. And one of the most important things I talk about is to find someone who's done what you've already done and model them. Now, I don't have time to do that now in this call, but it's critical to find someone who's done what you've done and find out how they did it. They'll be more than willing to help you and follow their suggestions. And remember, it's not a weakness to ask for help, because if you look at those 5 people that I just talked about earlier today who all had failures in the beginning, they all asked for help. And they had that expression in their heads, if it wasn't the exact words, take action now and never give up. So here's what I suggest to you for your script. In the next 48 hours, what I want you to do is I want you to examine yourself. I want you to be honest with yourself. I want you to be real. And what I want you to do is create a better sales movie by working on your inner script. So now what I want you to do is I want you to take this and I want you to cross out the word my, and I want you to put your name there. Because this is your movie. This is your sales movie. So now we're going to talk about sales specifically for a few minutes. Are we good on time, Sanan?
We are good on time.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so let's be sales specific. We sell every day. We sell every day. We sell our beliefs. We sell our feelings, our ideas, our services, our products, and our actions. Here's an example. Maybe you sell something on eBay. Maybe you have a new idea for your group that you want to go to a movie, or you want to play a video game, or maybe you want to tell someone how sad you really feel. That's all sales. That's all communicating what you want to communicate. Convince someone to believe like you, or get your parents to buy you something for your phone or your computer or your tablet. Or maybe it's something as simple as you want to get your sister to give you a ride, to the store. It's all about recognizing that sales is all about communication. So what I want you to do for just a minute, I want you to think about a sale that you made in any area, not just a product or a service. It could be an idea, a concept, something you wanted your parents to do for you, or something that you were successful at. I want you to think about that for a minute. And while you're thinking about that, I want you to think what it was that you did that helped you to be successful at doing it. What was that unique thing that might have been different than typically? Maybe you made it in their best interest to help you. Okay, now we're getting to the A. It stands for approach. When it comes to sales, a lot of people, when they think of sales, they think of products and services. So we'll talk about that for just a minute. Are you nervous? Are you worried? Are you excited? Are you hopeful? Do you have a lack of self-confidence? Do you have a lack of knowledge in the product that you're trying to communicate? Do you feel pushy? Do you feel ready? Those are all important things to recognize about yourself before you ever get into a conversation with a customer, knowing where you stand and what you're feeling and what you're thinking. Because if you don't know that, there's no way you're going to be able to communicate what you want to say to that person effectively. I could spend hours and hours and hours talking about sales. There are thousands of books written about sales. We're just touching on a few simple ideas today. But the most important thing is the script. Don't forget that. The script is the most important part. Because when you get that why clear, then the how works itself out. So we've talked about S and A. And I'll tell you that the other thing is that the L stands for listen, listen. Now, when we talk about listen, most people go, oh yeah, I listen. Well, I don't mean hear. There's a difference between hearing and listening. You can hear somebody and all you might be hearing is, because that's what it sounds like to you. Or you might be hearing somebody whispering, and so you can barely hear what they're saying. But that's the function of the ear. That's hearing. We're not talking about hearing. We're talking about listening. We're talking about being intentional with your attention. Being intentional with your attention. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Our body was built like that for a reason. And that's that we need to listen twice as much as we speak. We need to listen twice as much as we speak. And the most successful salespeople on the planet, when it comes to products and services, or even relationships, friendships, is because they're great listeners. Think for a minute, your friend, one of your best friends, do they listen to you? Or are they all about themselves? They listen to you. They're interested in what you have to say. It helps them understand you better. So when it comes to your customer, it's really important to listen to what they say, but it's also important to listen to what they don't say. Oftentimes, they say one thing and they mean another. And if you're just hearing them and you're not listening to them, you'll miss it. So look for not just what they say, but what they don't say, because oftentimes that's the objection that you need to look for. Okay, so let's talk just a little bit more about this. How many times, I think even Mayor Scott Brook talked about this last time. How many times you're talking with somebody and you're planning what you're going to say next. You're planning what you're going to say next. Oh yeah, my sales pitch, or I really want to make sure that she gives me that ride to the store. And you don't listen to what the person's saying, you're not going to get the communication. It's just not going to work. So it's important to give intentional listening. The next one is the E. And this one really is a surprise for some people, because I say eliminate. Eliminate. Just walk away. Stop in your tracks. Stop trying to sell them anything. Now, why do I say that? Because not everybody is your customer. Not everybody is your customer. If you're talking to a friend about why we should go to the movies or why we should play this video game, and that friend has 2 hours of homework to do that night, they're not your customer no matter what you say, because they know what they need and what they want. So it's important, again, when you listen, to recognize if you need to just eliminate them. And I don't mean be rude or anything. I simply just mean that what you do is you recognize this is not a customer that I can sell to, whatever it is you're trying to sell. Because you've all heard the expression, you can't push a wet noodle. And if you haven't, you have now. Okay, so maybe it's their timing isn't right. Maybe they're just trying to be polite to you, and so they're just yesing you and but they have no interest at all. Well, then just eliminate them and start focusing on the ones that do need what you have to sell. And here's the last letter, and it's the S, and it stands for solve. You guys today, when you tuned into this program, this is what you had in your mind. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? That's what you wanted to know. You didn't want to know how to be a better salesperson. You wanted to know how to get what being a better salesperson results in. And whatever that is, whether if it was to make money so you could buy something, or whether it was so you could be a better communicator or a better leader, you didn't tune into this program because you wanted to learn how to be more confident. You wanted to learn how to get the result of being more confident. And the expression is, you don't go into a hardware store to get a drill. You go into a hardware store to make a hole in the wall so you can hang your picture with a nail. You don't go into a hardware store to buy a drill. So when you're selling, you're not selling them your product, you're selling them what your product will solve for them. Now, does that make sense? Yeah, I see a bunch of heads shaking. Great, great. Okay, so you stuck it out to the end, or toward the end. I don't know what time it is, but I guess we're so good on timing.
We've got about 5 to 10.
Perfect. So you stuck it out this far, and now you have the framework for a great sales movie. And I could review it for you real fast if you want, but I don't think I need to. I have a feeling you have it all written down for you. And I want to thank you for hanging on and toward the end. So just like in the movies, just like a movie director might get an Oscar and you are the director of your own movie, I'm going to give you the gutsy. I know it's corny, but it's fun, I hope. It's fun to me anyway. So it's a lot of guts for you to be willing to go this far, and it'll take even a lot more guts if you take those 48 hours that you have coming up and really examine your script. So if you know a group or an organization that might enjoy this kind of a program, or be interested in my in-person live in an audience teen confidence building program. You can just email me at DW Starr. DW at dwstarllc.com. I'm sure you guys can put that in the chat for me. You might know an organization, or you might know a group, or you might know an individual that might find it helpful.
Thank you so much, Mr.
You're welcome.
Starr.
You've been a great audience. Give yourself a hand. And I'll answer any questions if anybody has any.
Right. So at this point in the juncture, and thank you so much, Mr. Starr, for your presentation. You're always engaging and insightful. And I'm so glad that you came onto the program today. And I'm sure that many of our youth leaders will reach out to you and continue to seek your mentorship, which I know that you're more than willing to provide.
Absolutely.
I would like to open it up to questions. And I also know that we've got a lot of questions from the registration as well. So if we're at a standstill and we're not getting questions in the Zoom, we have questions there too.
Okay.
So if anyone would like to use the raise hand function or unmute, I will give it a few seconds to come up with the question. Okay, no worries. So we'll turn to the registration, and then if anyone has any questions in the Zoom chat, we will turn to the Zoom call. One of the questions that came up for you is that on your website, it says that you've worked with organizations like NASA, the United States Air Force, and Arby's and other Fortune 500 companies. Can you talk about those experiences and what that meant for you?
Well, it was working with adults. And recently I've moved a lot more toward working with teens, but working with the adults, we're all children in adult. We're either children or teenagers, or we're children in adult bodies. We all have the same issues. Wherever we are in the world, we have the same issues. We have the need to want to be more confident so we can achieve some of our dreams and goals that seem further away than possible. And when it comes to corporations and organizations, the employees, an organization, a company is still made up of people. No matter how big it is, it's still made up of individual people. And so when leaders treat their employees like an individual instead of just another number, when the individual has an opportunity to learn more about their own inner workings, it makes for a more successful company.
The next question that's in the registration is, based on your experience in sales, how has the economy changed in the past 5 years? And what can you predict will happen in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, the economy has gone up and down, and certainly in COVID-19 times, there are some people who have thrived beyond unbelievable results, and others who have suffered. And it was a hard time for a lot of people. It still is. What's going on right now even is a hard time for a lot of people. But I believe that as we come out of it, if we stay positive and we stay focused on the bigger picture, I have this statistic that I might be able to find in my phone really, really quickly. And I'm going to look for it because it's so important in relationship to COVID-19. But let's see, let me try one more time. It has to do with, here we go. Okay, in my albums, it is hiding. Where is it hiding? Let's see if I can find it one more time. It has to do with the statistics of COVID-19 in relationship to a previous outbreak of what happened. I guess was it 1918? I think that's when it was that we had the plague, and it's like 50 million people died. 50 million, and they survived. So we're going to get through this. We're going to get through it. It's just going to be having to stay focused on the positive side.
I'm going to turn to one more question from the registration, and then we'll go around the Zoom room and see if anyone has any thoughts to share as well.
Okay.
The question in the registration is, for our youth, what are the most critical challenge that we must make to face the future effectively? Sorry, I read that wrong. It's what are the most critical changes that we must make to face the future effectively?
Well, I think the most important thing that youth can do is to trust themselves. You know, adults are well-meaning and they have most of them have your best interest at heart. But in your heart, you know what you really feel and what you really need and want. And you need to trust that and not let your feelings of, those people aren't like that, and look at these people on Instagram, and look at these people on YouTube, and I'm nothing like that. How am I going to ever amount to anything? And all those kinds of things, because all these other people don't try to be anybody but yourself. Be who you are. In this case, I'm playing the role of Mr. Confidence. But down underneath this costume, I'm still DW Starr. And I wear my purple tennis shoes and my blue jeans and my baseball cap.
Love it. All right. So thank you, Mr. Starr, for answering some of the questions. And what I'd like to invite everyone on the Zoom call to do is, and we'll go around, but to either share, if you can, and if you don't want to share, that's completely okay too. But we're always going to give you an opportunity. You can either share a question that you have for Mr. Starr, or you can share one thing that you've taken away from his presentation today, one thing that you've learned or something that you observed, or you can share both. So I'm going to start with Miriam.
Hi, Mr. Starr. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. I
Oh, you're
really
welcome.
enjoyed it. I would say that my favorite part was when we had to visualize with our arm how far we could go. It made me realize how much of a difference, for example, picturing your goals and picturing how you feel once you achieve it feels, so that you can actually apply it into everything you do in your daily life.
That's
So I
all.
really liked that.
Thank you, Miriam. How about Grace?
Hi, I also really enjoyed your presentation. I thought it was really interesting. I don't have a question, but I would just have to say my favorite part is just the ideas about confidence, because I think that's something that like a lot of people, especially in high school, can struggle with in a lot of different areas. But just the idea of like building up your confidence and how it can really work to your advantage in a lot of different situations.
Well, that's what my one-man show is about, where I spend an hour with the audience and I help them build their confidence with a very specific tool that I've created, that's based on my name, Starr. And we're developing that into a live show that's going to go around the country. So stay tuned.
And Grace is actually in California,
Oh,
not
awesome.
in our
That's where I'm
area.
from.
There we go. So thank you, Grace. How about you, Bailey?
I just really liked, well, first off, thank you so much for your presentation. I found it very insightful. And I really like just like the acronyms. Like I feel like I really like learn well with those kind of visual um like techniques and stuff. So I thought that that was a very insightful way to teach us.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bailey. How about you, Kushi?
I personally just liked how hands-on and visual the presentation was, because most people's presentations are just them talking about their experiences, but you talking about your experiences and also having the visual aspect part of it can really help people understand. And also like Grace was talking about when you mentioned confidence at this age of adolescence. Most of us are going through this thing called identity versus role confusion, where we're trying to find out where we fit in society and what our identity, our personality, our style is. And having someone supporting us through that period and helping us find our identity is very helpful.
Thank
Really
you.
well said. Thank you, Kushi. How about Jacob?
I thought the presentation was very informative. The main thing I took away was the thing about the RAS, where you unconsciously focus on what you tell yourself to. So if you just tell yourself to look at the positive stuff, you notice it more. And that example you gave, where looking around a room and focusing on items of a certain color, and then trying to imagine items of and count how many items there were of a different color. I feel like that helped demonstrate how applicable it is to our lives. So that was the main thing I took away. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you. How about Zena? Okay, no worries.
Hey,
Oh,
I'm right
hey,
here. Sorry about that.
no worries.
I was just gonna say it was like very insightful and like I learned a lot. And also like talking about your experiences, like people learn, I personally learned from Mr. DW Starr's experiences, and I feel like I'm better equipped as a college student to go out there in the real world. And like since I'm a senior and almost ending my college career, so I definitely learned a lot, and this will definitely help me in the real world.
Terrific.
I love that. Thank you, Zena. How about Robert Stack? All right. If you want to put your comments in the chat, that's completely okay. No worries. How about Miss Morella?
Hi, Morella.
Hi. Oh, hello, guys. I'm exercising at this time. DW, so great to see you. I didn't get to say hello last time, but I listened. I was here. So I'm running out of battery, but you're always on point, DW. I love how dynamic your presentation is. One of the things and everything you said, and you always say it's so on point. But what you said about how important our why is. Am I breaking, guys? I'm sorry because I'm walking.
You're good. You're good.
Thank you, darling. It's very why down. Whatever it is you're embarking on, whatever it is your endeavors will be, going to college, applying for a job. If you're gonna be doing an entrepreneurial, you're following whatever it is you're doing, it is very important to have your why are you doing whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, because life gets tough, right? Sometimes there's challenges in life, and when life gets tough, the tough gets going, right? So we have to remember your inspiration. Why are you doing what you're doing? And keep going, because that's what's gonna keep you going, the courage to continue. So back to you, Sinan. Thank you, son.
Thank you. Thank you for always supporting us. And great words. And I think you're absolutely right, Mr. Starr. You are dynamic, and we love having you on. And I love watching you continue to inspire our youth and our young people. Last but certainly not
Who
least.
inspired me?
Oh, last but certainly not least, SK.
So one of the things I always find really cool is learning about people who don't give up, because sometimes it's really easy to give up and sometimes it's really hard to stay motivated. And we have this tendency when we look at people in the media and people who have a lot of success to think, oh, they got lucky and they were just in the right place at the right time. it's really easy to forget how hard they tried before they broke through that ceiling. And so I really liked those 5 examples he gave.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. As we're approaching the end, one thing that I'd like to request everyone to do is if you can put your email or your contact in the chat, it'll be really helpful for our team to continue to support and to continue to outreach to you on opportunities that our Youth Innovation Table are doing to continue to have great discussions like these with amazing speakers like DW Starr. Mr. Starr, thank you for supporting our youth and our Youth Innovation Table. You are always welcome to join us, and we are so beyond grateful to have you on today. And on a personal note, I want to thank you for all of the mentorship and the support and the guidance that you provided to myself. And I know that you do the same for all of us and so many youth far and wide in many different areas of the country and many different areas of the world. And we are wishing you continuous support and prosperity in the endeavors that you're pursuing to inspire us and to motivate us. So thank you so much from the bottom of all of our hearts.
It was an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, before everyone goes, we want to take a screenshot picture at the end. So don't go anywhere just yet. We just want to share a quick ending information for our Youth Innovation Table. So we have our Youth Innovation Table WhatsApp group to stay updated. You can go to tinyurl.com/YIT WhatsApp, and you can stay up to date with all of the happenings with the Youth Innovation Table. All are welcome. Our social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and our website. We need all the support we can get to continue to create opportunities just like this one. And one of the best ways that you can support us is through growing our social media so that we can continue to outreach to more and more young people, more adult mentors, and create an even bigger family and community. And finally, we have a survey. So I'll leave that QR code up for about 10 seconds for anyone who wants to scan it, but we'll also provide that in an email after this meeting, and you'll get that from the Youth Innovation Table. So if you haven't already, make sure to put your email and information in the chat. And at this time, I'd like to request if everyone can, while you're scanning the survey, to turn on your cameras so we can take a last screenshot picture. All right, I'm going to stop the screen share. And Miriam, if you can direct us on the screenshot picture.
Yes, definitely. So I'm going to count from 3 and then I'm going to take a picture. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, I got it. And I'm just capturing it right now.
Thank you, Miriam. And we have about 5 minutes. Mr. Starr, before we all head out, closing remarks briefly and top piece of advice to our youth before we go.
Follow your heart. Follow your heart. There's something that's bubbling inside. Pay attention to it.
Okay, for some reason the picture didn't save. Can we do that one more time?
Absolutely. And then
Thank
we'll
you.
head out, and thank you, Mr. Starr, for your closing remarks.
Sure.
All right. Anyone who wants their camera on can turn it on. And I'm going to count from 3. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Hopefully I got it this time. Let me just double check.
And we have the recording as well, Miriam.
Yeah.
So we can capture
I
it
think my
together.
computer is being weird, but I'm going to look at the recording and I'll just capture it from there.
No worries. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Make sure to join us 2 Mondays from now, and always appreciate your support. Have a great night.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.